Recorded Books, Incorporated presents an unabridged recording of Suspicion of Deceit by Barbara Parker, narrated by Barbara Rosenblat. This work is copyrighted 1998 by Barbara Parker. This recording is copyrighted 1999 by Recorded Books, Incorporated. For attorney Gail Connor, it all begins with a suspicion of deceit. All the more troubling since it is the man she loves of whom she is suspicious. Determined to separate the truth from the lies, Gail is searching for answers where perhaps she should not. For soon a suspicion of deceit will turn to evidence of guilt, and reveal a damning secret that a killer wants to keep buried forever. And now, Suspicion of Deceit.
Chapter 1. Seen from the Atlantic, the lights of Miami are a chain of jewels balanced on a narrow rim of land between swamp and sea. Overhead, on clear, cool winter nights, the stars are brilliant, pulsing. Gail Connor waited until her fiancé's Cadillac bumped onto the Fisher Island ferry, then asked him to open the sunroof so they could see the sky. She took off her high heels and climbed onto the seat. "And where are you going, Bomboncita?" "It's beautiful out here." A gust of wind ruffled her hair. She pulled her lacy cashmere shawl tighter around her shoulders. The ferry turned in the ship channel and headed southeast past the Coast Guard station. Water splashed steadily on the hull. A few leftover Christmas trees blinked in windows of the condominiums on South Beach, and farther out, the Atlantic vanished into darkness. Tonight, the Miami Opera was holding a fundraising party on Fisher Island. Gail had recently been hired as general counsel. Her mother was a board member. That had helped. But Gail had the qualifications. 8 years in a top law firm on Flagler Street before opening her own office. As a final inducement, she had offered to donate 50 hours of legal services a year. The opera was loaded with potential contacts. She'd been given 2 tickets for the event tonight, one for herself, one for a guest. The guest was, of course, Anthony Quintana, who had learned by now not to be surprised when the 34-year-old woman he was engaged to kicked off her shoes and stood up to sightsee through his sunroof. The small terminal was located on the causeway that ran from the city to the southern tip of Miami Beach. Passengers were required to remain inside their vehicles, but there were so few on board, a dozen or so, that from her...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?